Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Seema, your host for today's webinar. It gives me immense pleasure welcoming you all to the live webinar on the theme of hybrid cloud, the answer to accelerated e-government services delivery. This webinar is hosted by Cyber Media Research in association with VMware. For the duration of presentation, all participants' lines will be in listen-only mode. After the presentation, we will be having a question and answer session. Your feedback is very important for us. Please submit your feedback at the end of the webinar. Now, I would like to hand over the floor to Rahul Shinde, VMware, and he will share his insight on the Accelerate Your Cloud Journey with VMware. Okay.
Hey, good morning and good afternoon for everyone. This is Rahul. I'm part of VMware's cloud team, help customers and my partners ecosystem to realize the dream of adopting cloud. So to start with, I'm going to take you through what is the how part of cloud. Firstly, to start with, I would like to thank you, many of you who are existing customers of VMware. And I want to thank you on behalf of VMware for your continuous association. As I mentioned earlier, the focus on the entire session what I have today would be on how part of the cloud, how to achieve, what are the challenges, so on and so forth. My objective today is to share with you what is the role of VMware and its ecosystem of partners and how they can play a key role to help you transform your business through the cloud. We all know that we have two sets of applications here in data center. We have existing applications and modern applications. And for all those estates what we have, the key things what we need to do from a cloud journey perspective is to maintain certain applications which we need to keep as it is because they are legacy, they are hard to migrate to cloud, so on and so forth challenges. There are certain applications which you can re-platform, keep as is and move only the new environment, move to the new environment, not entirely I will say the cloud. Then we have hybrid set of applications which has got part of it which you can shift it, extend it to cloud, leverage the capabilities of cloud. Then let's talk about the modern applications. There are certain applications which you can refactor completely, build it, change the entire code and move them to the cloud. Apart from that, there will be some cloud native, born in cloud kind of an applications we can deploy, develop into the cloud. And there are certain state of applications which we can obviously replace from an on-premise or cloud model and move to the entire SaaS-based, which is a consumption-based modeling. And the key part, we all know that the business is the application and application is a business. Any cloud journey always begins with keeping in mind the business perspective. What is the business perspective we have, what are the business objectives we have, and how they relate to the application. Let's say there are existing applications which are having a key goals in mind. For example, to reduce the cost, there are security challenges, we want to make it more reliable, scalable, put on more control onto it so that we have those serving very linearly with what business demands. Then we have modern applications which we built and we want to build keeping in mind faster time to market. We want to innovate in terms of how the application platform is delivered, scale on demand, and create a differentiation from business perspective to the market so that your business can deliver a different experience to your end customer, your end consumer. Working with VMware or VMware certified partners to have that discussion. In some case, assessment would be the first step. That is what we strongly believe, that before even we start a discussion, we need to assess what the current state is. Then align those assessment goals with what are the key objectives we want to achieve. What is the end state we should have in mind, assess the initial state what we have, and then align those things with the business objective what we have. Once we establish the current state, the next step is to start working on the target state, where you want to actually land it. From application perspective, how exactly it looks like. Many applications will continue to live inside your data center because of like let's say they are rigid, they cannot change the overall architecture of the application, and they need to be on your data center. Having said that, they can be modernized. They can be lot of things you can improve into them in terms of performance, in terms of security, and fine-tune them. The same policies and processes that you have your data center also need to be applied across all other footprints. So for every enterprise or every government institute, it is must that they have a consistency in terms of the overall posture what they have for application deployment. Some applications can be migrated to the cloud, like you just lift and shift to the cloud. Some applications need to be modernized, that you need to really change them in terms of the platform orientation. And some, as I mentioned, can be straight away into the SaaS platform. Once we have the target state in mind, let's look at what is the architecture we can create for you once you want to have this established, that the start state and end state into the mind. As I mentioned, that the architecture need to be spread across multiple states. There could be on-premises state, and there could be hybrid and native private cloud. So or native public cloud. You cannot avoid it, because for any application or for any enterprise, it is inherent, or it is going to be the state where they will test the blood of all sort of clouds going forward. It is because of the level of maturity the business wants, and the level of target set goal what business have. Based on those conditions, you would have those things into place. A multi-cloud state, and VMware strongly believes that for any enterprise or any government institute, the first step towards cloud has to be hybrid. So, and obviously the end goal has to be adopting a full-fledged cloud. Having said that, the first step has to be hybrid. You establish, connect with the cloud, your existing applications, and then you plan your overall journey. The hybrid cloud comes into play in case where you want to first modernize your infrastructure. Why you will do that from your existing private cloud perspective is that overall lower the cost of running your application, your own data center, or in the cloud by creating your own set of policies, your own set of governance in the cloud. Here on this slide, think of private cloud as own your data center, and public cloud is something which will adopt from your on-demand capacity perspective, or once you modernize your applications, refactor it, the target state would be the public cloud. The edge is going to be where you have your small data centers, or like extended branches. For example, a bank or a government sales tax agency would have, or any government agency would have a centralized office from which the applications runs. They will have certain applications which would be eventually put into public cloud because of the government initiative, because of the overall directions what we see going forward from the government of India. And there would be edge, where the remote offices, where there are tertiary applications due to, you can say, the way architecture is, you would be forced to deploy those applications at those end small data centers or small offices. Actually, I did not need to talk about much on this slide. We all know that these are the public clouds available in India today from consumption perspective. We call them hyperscale clouds, AWS, Azure, and all they offer is around a lot of SaaS applications, native DevOps applications like big data, machine learning, AI kind of an application platforms where you can natively adopt them. So basically, in summary, what I'm saying is the cloud architecture need to address all applications that you have today, and your business needs, it should address the overall business needs. What is the state of today and what is going to be tomorrow. What this should exactly include is basically a consistent infrastructure for your existing applications, which can be achieved by modernizing your data center. As I stated earlier, there could be some state of applications which can't be moved to cloud because of the way they are written, the way they have been built. For them, so as to achieve more efficiency and agility, you need to modernize your existing cloud. You need to have a consistent operation for those that are already into a multi-cloud journey. You assess the overall cloud, you take them to the next journey where you assess the applications and say that, okay, now they are ready to move to the cloud. Once they are ready, you want those consistent operations, what you are currently doing on your existing data center. You obviously wish and want to have the same set of, you can say, governance, policies, securities when they migrate to cloud. And apart from that, would have a consistent developer experience for the applications which are already going to be deployed into your native cloud. So basically, so how you can achieve it? That's where VMware would be your ideal partner. We can provide you a consistent infrastructure across your on-premise data center in terms of modernizing your overall data center at your on-premise workloads. Make a VM infrastructure or the container infrastructure, provide that efficiency you want to build in. Once your applications start to move to the cloud, we can provide you the consistent operations in terms of automations and in terms of operation efficiency across multiple clouds. So the end state could be any of those public clouds or any of those hyperscale clouds. We would ensure that we give you that consistent experience once your applications start to move across. And for you as an enterprise or as a government customer, you would have a single view for them, a single management plane for them when you want to assess and ensure that you have a consistency in terms of all those policies you want to put onto across those applications. Apart from that, we would ensure that you get that consistent developer experience when the developers what you want to deploy those applications, develop those applications on the native clouds. So now, having established that there are three states of cloud where you have applications running on-premise, where you need to modernize your cloud. There are applications which will be running in the cloud, where you want a consistency in terms of overall operations, and there has to be a segment of applications which would be getting developed into the cloud itself. So why does the hybrid cloud exactly matter, right? As I said that all this journey, what I said at the start, that the first step has to be hybrid. And why actually it matters for an organization? The key reason behind the hybrid cloud is a key, you can say, consideration when you want to actually adopt a cloud is within next 4 years, 79% of the enterprise would expect both on-premise and public cloud infrastructure to be a end state where they are going to consume their overall capacity. And they expect both on-premise and on-cloud infrastructure to be there in place. That's something the researchers are talking about. And on top of that, they are saying that they want to combine both the worlds so that they can bring down the overall cost efficiency. They can bring in the overall cost reduction into the overall application landscape, scale them with public cloud while looking to the private cloud for a greater control on them, decide which aspect of your business you want in each environment, whether your one set of environment want entirely a scalability into public cloud, a certain set of applications which would need that your on-premise data center has to scale on demand in terms of the overall performance of the applications. Scale the infrastructure rapidly. That's one of the key needs why people are talking about a cloud as an end state or rather a journey towards the cloud. The kind of a scalability what you get from the cloud so quickly without any disruption is the key, you can say, a driving force why people are looking at the cloud as an end state. Having said that, they want to leverage their existing infrastructure and skills because you have inherent capabilities which are built in over a year when we virtualize your cloud or once you deploy the applications in your existing data center. You want to have those preserving existing investment in both technology and talent which you have nourished over the year so that you could able to manage more efficiently your public cloud estate. So as I said that The application state we established, the need for a hybrid cloud, why it would need, obviously the scalability part, the application cost reduction. They also want to have a consistent experience, and they want to leverage their existing talent. This is something which is the first picture. Now, at the backdrop of this picture, when we actually want to think about a first step towards a hybrid or a multi-cloud, there are multiple challenges. This slide talks about what are those key challenges we are talking about. The first and foremost is the network. Why we believe network is, that's a key backbone from where you're going to consume, connect, and really put the overall emphasis on in terms of consuming a cloud. So we all know that the topologies what you have would be always diverse. What you have on-premise, what you have onto your cloud estate. Security models would be a challenge. You need to have a trusted connections. Latency is one of the key challenge. The IP schemas are going to be different. You need to adapt to those schemas. Stretching a network. When you talk about a hybrid essentially is like having a secure connection between your on-premise and the cloud estate. So the networking stretch is one of the complex aspects. And migration, that's one of the key things. Having said that, I will modernize the application, I will take it to the cloud, but when I actually want to migrate that application to the cloud, it's pretty painful because you need a lot of stuff to be done in terms of refactoring, in terms of ensuring that you get the same performance and scale when that application moves to a cloud. So what are the application challenges we have? There are a lot of dependencies. Let's say there are 3-tier application and you want to move only the web layer to the cloud, then that application will have a lot of dependencies on on-premise app and database which is currently deployed. There are critical applications for which you cannot afford any kind of a downtime. You want it to be up and running for 4 nines and 3 nines of the world. Apart from that, there are mobility applications. Those are accessed by the handheld devices or mobile roaming users. For them, you want a much of a scale whenever there is a peak load in terms of, for example, we conduct elections, right? We have tax filings. It could be sales tax filings or it could be income tax filings. And we all know that there are certain periods during the election period or during the July when the last dates of election or rather income tax filings are there. There's a lot of traffic which comes onto the websites and for which your department needs to be ready so that you can cater to that peak workload whenever that is necessary. And the key challenge here is it is unpredictable traffic. So the application need to be aware of and application need to be ready in terms of going back. Having said that, it has to be a rollback capability because those are seasonal loads. When we have seasonal loads going back, for example, GST filings happen over a month end. So once that happens, or the first week of month, we need that application to again scale down because we want to have, you can say, a mature and optimized use of the cloud estate. So for any application or any cloud consumption, it is must that we take into consideration the challenges associated with the network as well as applications. Apart from that, there are certain other operational complexities we have. We want a consistency in terms of application, how you operate your cloud, which is on-premise, versus how you operate the cloud, which is there on the hyperscale cloud or a public cloud or VMware-powered cloud. It has to be a consistency, and we see that hyperscale cloud are having a different scheme of operations. So there is an inconsistency in operational aspect. The skill set and tools what we have nourished so far will not be to some extent or maybe to the full extent applicable to the cloud estate. So we'll have different skill sets and tools to live with and apart from that ensure that our application go in sync with those tools. The management tools and the security postures are entirely going to be different. So that's one of the key challenges because being in government entities, security is the most concerning part for you. So the security aspect on a public cloud will be different compared to your on-premise cloud. You need to also mention that application SLAs are delivered and the machine formats what we have. Let's talk about the format in which your application is running on your on-premise data center and the format in which it is going to run into a cloud would be different. Now, we talked a lot about these challenges, right? Like application challenges, network challenges, consistency, so on and so forth. The key thing why we all are gathered today is to ensure that we overcome those challenges, right? And being one of the leaders into data center and infrastructure technologies, VMware is here to help you. Not only help you, help would be is going to be like a naive word. I will say partner with you so that we can together realize the dream of your cloud, so that you can really have those fruitfulness of the cloud being delivered to your applications, your organization. How VMware is helping all those customers across globe, it could be enterprise customers or government customers, is by creating an homogeneous single architecture across multiple clouds. And that's why we built something called as VMware Cloud Foundation. Cloud Foundation essentially provides the simplest path to the hybrid cloud through a fully integrated hybrid cloud platform. This new platform delivers a set of software-defined services. We all know that essentially what IaaS or infrastructure services means is compute, storage, and network. Apart from the key element which it will tag to an application is security and the management. VMware Cloud Foundation makes operating the data center fundamentally simpler by bringing the ease and automation of a public cloud in-house by deploying a standardized and validated architecture with built-in live automation for the entire cloud stack. So what we are saying that your journey towards the cloud, we have a stack, which is VMware Cloud Foundation, which will ensure that it will empower you rather to make your cloud journey much more simpler, much more efficient when you actually want to migrate to cloud. We all know that, as I mentioned earlier, that security is one of the top priorities for the data center. Right? That's the key in terms of let it be an enterprise or government. Cloud Foundation includes end-to-end security built in into entry level of the architecture, from micro-segmentation at the networking layer down to the encryption at the storage layer. So we have a gateway security posture, we have micro-segmentation. So micro-segmentation essentially is ensuring your not only north-south traffic, but your east-west traffic is also secured when the traffic is moving across the applications, across the multiple tiers of applications, as well as across your virtual machines. And it is not only restricted to the network access, we have ensured that we have this stack which provides you encryption, that's a high level of security, to the data which is on rest. So data which is there in the flow can be secured using microsegmentation. Data which is at the rest would be encrypted so that is also secured when you want to actually deploy any application. And for those who are looking to extend the public cloud, VMware Cloud Foundation, which is the stack, can be consumed as a service through our cloud service provider partners. So those including VMware Cloud Provider partners like Tata Communication, or the native clouds like VMware Cloud on AWS, IBM, so on and so forth. So we have ensured that for an organization, or it could be government or enterprise, or anyone who want to start their cloud journey, we will provide you the consistency, what I mentioned earlier, in terms of experience, in terms of security, in terms of application scale. The same stack is available across the public clouds what we have, so that you can really unleash the experience what you need to get from the cloud. And those are the fastest part to the clouds could be rapid application migration to minimize the cost, scale on demand. For a DR, it could be a seasonal growth, as well as to drive the next generation applications. We talked about in previous slide, modernize your data center. You can adopt a cloud with same consistent experience with VMware Cloud Foundation into those native public cloud as well as our cloud provider community, and you can give the same experience to your developer people who want to build the next generation applications in the cloud. So what is the key benefit for you is security, the consistent experience, ensuring that your existing skill sets where you have already invested, nourished, would be available, or I will not say not only available, would be leveraged so that you can manage the entire cloud estate. It could be on-premise or a public cloud, or it could be DevOps with peace of mind and with high efficiency what you already built into your environment. So we have a solution now for the overall hybridity need of a customer. But we all know that we need somebody who would make this happen. So we have those estates available everywhere you want to deploy an application, on-premise, cloud, everywhere. So we need somebody, a bridge, a trusted advisor who could help us to really make our journey smoother when we want to go it. That's why we have VMware Cloud Provider Program, where we have 4,200 plus cloud providers across the globe. We already have Tata Communication today going to do their presentation in terms of their overall cloud capabilities. They are one of our leading cloud provider partners in India, and they really bring in a real value of becoming a trusted advisor for all the life cycle journey of your cloud. So from assessment to migration to stabilization, establishing in the cloud, and as well as making that journey as an end state where you really have your applications running smoothly across the clouds. This slide essentially talks about VMware Cloud Verified. So we have key cloud providers being given a badge of Cloud Verified. So Cloud Verified badge essentially means that they have fully deployed VMware Cloud infrastructure, cloud foundations, and the public clouds being empowered by VMware. They can provide you a consistent infrastructure and operations globally with the same experience, which would be obviously accompanied with optimized performance and the scale what you need for the enterprise applications, and which will ensure you that you get access to innovative services and expertise of those cloud verified partners, so that they can really help you with overall cloud journey. Now, let's talk about the key takeaways what I have to deliver you in terms of, now we all know that VMware Cloud on AWS is available. It is an engineered platform between AWS and VMware where the entire cloud foundation and stack is running, and you can not only migrate easily, smoothly your applications to this state, as well as you can consume native public cloud services of AWS, so that you have those modernized applications need also to be delivered. It could be AI, it could be big data, ML, machine learning platform, so on and so forth, so that you can scale consistently across the platform. And the best part is this is entirely can be integrated with your on-premise VMware data center, so that you get the same rich experience, consistency for your workloads, no refactoring required. You just put that application seamlessly migrated to VMware Cloud on AWS. And the best part is we support both, or I will not say support, we engineered both the scenarios where customer want to do a live migration of the virtual machine or a bulk migration with a switchover. We all know that we talked about hybrid, we talked about the key challenges associated with the adoption of cloud. One of the key thing is migrating to the cloud, and with such stack which are engineered, the migration to the cloud is much more easier and smoother. Now, having said that, let's talk about the key scenarios where exactly you can realize the value of this VMware Cloud Foundation, which is running on multiple, you can say, endpoints. So we all know that VMware is all about giving you flexibility and giving you, you can say, portability across the cloud. So you can choose which cloud you want to land. You want to land it into AWS, you want to land it into Azure, you want to land it into Google or Oracle. We are in a journey where we already have a VMware consistent infrastructure today available into AWS as well as in Azure. Oracle and Google are on the corner. It should be there by end of this year. And as I mentioned, the first and key scenario would be to migrate to the cloud. Scale on demand for your disaster recovery or backup scenarios, or seasonal or cyclic capacity. As I mentioned, I've given various examples where you need to really burst to the cloud. It could be multi-cloud operations where you want a single plane of glass from which you can view the state of your cloud. We have a SaaS-based platform, Cloud Health and Cloud Automation Service, with which you can manage, you can have a visibility, bring in a lot of efficiency when you want to really manage your multi-clouds. The best part is we have technology, networking technology, which will ensure that you can maintain the networking functions as well as security functions associated with a certain application, irrespective where the application moves, into which cloud, whether it moves into our cloud verified platform or it moves into hyperscale cloud like AWS or Azure or Google's of the world. Just to tell you about two case scenarios, we empowered one of the key mid-sector bank where they had the CRM applications running onto existing platform, and they want to really leverage a cloud. And the key challenge was they wanted to shorten their overall migration. They tried themselves, and it was a 6 months long cycle, and the end state couldn't be achieved. With this VMware Cloud on AWS, we ensured that within 1 month, 2 weeks, we have migrated that entire application from their on-premise to the cloud with the consistency what they required from operation and scale perspective. We all know that we are the leaders when it comes to compute virtualization, or it could be storage virtualization, or network virtualization and automation. How we achieve that? By ensuring that we understand customer needs, we go hand in hand with customer, partner with them in their overall journey of, it could be modernizing their on-premise data center, or it could be adopting to a cloud. That's the overall story what I have. The key takeaways already shared. Irrespective where you want to land in terms of your application posture, any cloud, VMware is a partner for you, which will ensure that your overall adoption journey to the cloud, it could be hybrid cloud or a multi-cloud, we are there and we are much more capable to make your thought process and your dreams come true. That's it what I have from my side. Thanks a lot for joining this webinar. Over to you, Seema.
Thank you, Mr. Shinde, for setting up the platform for today's webinar. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to the next speaker, Mr. Rajesh Awasthi, Global Head and Associate Vice President, Global Managed Hosting and Cloud Services Tata Communications. Over to you, Mr. Awasthi.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Rajesh Awasthi, and thank you, Rahul, for setting up the context. So in next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about how Tata Communication as a partner to VMware can enable your transformation journey to a hybrid infrastructure, which could include some bits on the environment which you have already invested on, and that has not been written down in your books and has not been depreciated in the in financial terms, and you want to retain them for some period of time, or it could be driven by some compliance requirement or even the technical requirement, and combine that with the cloud options which are available. So how Tata Communications as a partner can help you in that engagement. With that, basically, what I'm going to talk about is what is that our customers want when they are looking at a hybrid infrastructure. One of the things which they want to look at is, since they have been running their IT operations or business applications within their on-premise data centers, they want to run those workloads and continue in those environments, and combine that by running some workloads on cloud and thus create a hybrid environment. But what is needed for them to do this is a tighter integration between these two environments, and also look at how they can scale their business application requirements and IT infrastructure requirements accordingly without getting into a heavy capex based buying of a hardware, and thus look at a model where they can consume it as a service on the cloud. So that's what they look at when they are creating hybrid. And I know from a hybrid perspective, definitions could be extended from here I'm talking about on-premise. It could be even hosted with some provider like Tata Communication, and that needs to be tightly integrated with the cloud environment, which you may be exploring for your business applications. As Rahul was highlighting, the challenges that you come across when you're looking at migrating to cloud, there are multiple machine formats that you need to take care of, because you may have deployed your environment on a physical infrastructure, or it could have been deployed on a virtualized hypervisor like VMware, which is the leading hypervisor in this particular space. And then when you're looking at cloud environments, you could be exploring native AWS, native Azure or Google, and each one of them, they have their own formats to kind of deploy those. And these formats could also depend on the databases or the applications that you're using on top of that. The other thing that you need to look at, as Rahul was highlighting, is how do you take care of incongruent networks? Because the network architecture that you may have deployed within your own data center vis-a-vis what is deployed within AWS, Azure, or even other cloud providers may be slightly different, which leads to operational inconsistency. So how do you take care of that? And once you are moving into newer environments, the skill sets and the tools required may be entirely different than what you have been utilizing within your own data center. Not only for migration, but also from a monitoring and control perspective. So those are some of the challenges that you come across. So how do you go about overcoming some of these challenges? So as Tata Communication, what we do for our customers like you is to help them for their data center, IT infrastructure and cloud environments, where we give hosting and cloud services to build a hybrid IT infrastructure which is customized for customers' application workload and deliver it as a service so that they can consume it as a service. What we do as a service provider is help in migration. Migration, when I'm saying migration, could be migrating to a hosted cloud environment, or to a hyperscale provider like what Rahul was talking of, AWS, Azure, or Google, or even others. Then look at monitoring and managing that for our customers across the diverse environments, and this is something which we deliver globally from our perspective. So if you look at hybrid cloud scenarios, what could be there? What we help is basically, as I was highlighting, one of the challenges that our customers face is how do they integrate the on-premise data center with the cloud environment, and that's where we bring to the table our own private cloud offering. This is a shared multi-tenant offering from our side, which is available across 13 locations across the globe. If I talk specifically in India, we are present in 3 locations, Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore, each one of them connected through high-speed network of Tata Communication, thus giving customers an option to create a DC or a DR environment and integrate that with an on-premise deployment, which you may have done with VMware as the underlying technology for virtualization or the other controls that you may have put in. And this IZO private cloud which I'm talking about is a platform which is VM verified, as Rahul was talking about. That means it is using same technologies which you may have deployed within your own private cloud which you have built on-premise, and would have a tighter integration in that sense. So what is common between the two is the VMware environment, and thus your challenges related to multiple formats, related to operational issues, related to incongruent network are taken care of because your network technology or topologies may be similar in that sense. So if I talk about what we do in this IZO Private Cloud, we deliver it as a service along with the managed services for our customer. Each tenant gets a logical virtual private cloud for themselves, which is isolated between each other. And as Rahul was talking about, we are using VMware NSX, thus creating network micro-segmentation and avoid basically east to west security challenges which may come in a traditional network. So that's one part of it amongst the multiple tenants which may be deployed on that. Second, for any north to south or south to north, every tenant by default gets a perimeter firewall. And there is one of the questions which was asked that is cloud, if cloud is so secure, why do we see ransomware or malware creep-ins happening? So here, as a managed services provider, one of the things which we generally talk to our customer is that when you're talking of security, it's a shared responsibility. Yes, there are tools which are deployed on cloud environment. They are to certain level. That means if you're talking of a managed environment, if you're talking of a hyperscaler like AWS or Azure, generally they will say that our platform is secure. But what you create on top of that, the solution that you create on top of that, is something which you have to secure with your security capabilities. And that can be, again, we can give you tools to create that security perimeter for yourself, but that is something which has to be done as part of the solutioning. And I'm giving you an example in one of the cases that we came across where a customer said that because their application wanted us to open a certain port which we highlighted could lead to a security threat, because that is most vulnerable ransomware port generally when you have an internet-based application. Still customer said, my application doesn't work if I don't open this port. In that scenario, even if you have the best of tools deployed on the cloud environment, your environment in particular will be susceptible or vulnerable for those kind of records. So that's why I say it's a shared responsibility even if it is getting deployed on the cloud environment. So that is just to answer one of the questions which was highlighted in the chat session. But what I'm saying here is, from our perspective, when we are giving production VMs, we create an enterprise data center which is a virtual private cloud for our customers within minutes or hours. This is something which is managed by us. However, customers do get a self-service provisioning capability through a web interface. And this comes with our operational consistency across the premises and on premises is something what we deliver. One of the points which was highlighted is that how do you make sure that the transition which you are doing from your on-premise to cloud environment is seamless. In case you are using VMware technologies on-premise for your data center, and that would be scenario for a lot of our customers like you, who are using VMware with vCenter or vRealize tools. With the NSX capability, we can have an L2 stretch, which is the layer 2 stretch from your data center to our IZO Private Cloud. What it gives basically our customers like you is a tenant-driven workflow through the vCenter. It helps in cold or warm migration options using vSphere replication or SRM. Also looking at seamless connectivity, which is the layer 2 VPN client connectivity amongst the various options. So what we are saying here is, since we are a verified VMware verified cloud environment, this migration becomes smoother and secure when you are migrating to a cloud environment like this. What are some of the advantages from this VMware based platform? I've kind of highlighted. It is a like-to-like environment. It is a completely managed along with the operational consistency that we bring in with our vast experience. It comes with a possibility to create a disaster recovery for your business continuity requirements and also help you migrate without refactoring. That means you don't have to worry about the formats which are being used within your environment. And Rahul gave an example of one of the banks which they worked on with, where the customer was grappling for 6 months and was unable to move to cloud. When they decided on VMware platform, they could do easily within a month. And that's what we are saying, that without refactoring, you will be able to migrate your workloads. And easy portability is one of the things which comes by default. And one of the things which can be done in a hybrid model, and this may be relevant from some of the BFSI segments, and I'm giving you an example also. You may need certain workloads to be deployed on a cloud, but still some workloads, because the application that you have deployed is still running on some proprietary systems, you may have to continue on a dedicated infrastructure. So we can create a hybrid environment within our own data center also and deliver it as a service to you. Just to give you an example, I'm sure you're aware, in insurance segment, still a lot of applications run on AIX environment. Now that's a proprietary hardware. Which you may have procured, or you may want us to deliver as a service along with the cloud environment that we have, and create a hybrid environment for you. That's something which is possible. And all this is basically available with capacity on demand and with flexible consumption model which are possible. And these are some of the use cases. Use cases could be related to data center extension, which include basically footprint expansion or on-demand capacity requirement, or it could be for your test and development or virtual desktop or publishing applications that you want to do. Or use this cloud for your disaster recovery. You may have your in-house data center which is running VMware. Look at creating a DR which is replacing your DR whenever there is a tech refresh. Rather than doing a hardware purchase, you could look at an OpEx-based model for DR. Along with the capabilities to do application-specific cloud migration, or look at infrastructure refresh, which is there. Or even looking at app modernization or any other areas which may be required from your journey perspective. How we as Tata Communication help? We help in the entire journey for cloud for our customers, where we work with them in assessing and designing a solution for them. Help them connect and migrate that, and then look at securing and protecting, and also look at operating it for them on scale is something. Okay. So what our services portfolio means, basically, it is built on our foundation, which is the network services. I'm sure some of you are using our services on the internet access or MPLS or point-to-point connectivity, or using SD-WAN or ISO Private Connect, which is nothing but connecting to the public cloud environments. Along with that, what we can deliver is the infrastructure, which could include the dedicated hosting, ISO Private Cloud, which is a VMware verified cloud platform. We are also an MSP for VMC or VMware VMware Cloud on AWS, which Rahul was talking about, or using AWS, Azure, or Google. We are a partner for them, both from a reselling and managed services perspective. What we deliver here on top of all these infrastructure options is the professional services, which would include cloud migration, assessment, optimization, and automation, looking at backup and archival for long-term retention on cloud storage, or even migrating some of the applications, like a lot of customers looking on ECC to S/4HANA migration. Basically, how do we help you in the infrastructure migration, along with the managed services, which include 24/7 proactive monitoring of hardware, hypervisor, operating system, database, or middleware. We generally don't get into application space, but that's where we restrict ourselves. And this could be for a private cloud or a public cloud, which is the underlying infrastructure, or a multi-cloud management, or even creating a CI/CD pipeline for DevOps management is something which we do for our customers. So that's something which we've been doing So with that, I would want to end my session, but will be more than open along with Rahul to take some questions and answer them based on our experience working with some of the customers. So back to you, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Awasthi, for sharing those thoughtful insights. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Shipra Sinha, Analyst CMR Dear Delegate. She will take your question. You can ask your questions by typing in the chat window and select all panelists.
Yeah, thank you, Seema. Thank you, Rahul and Mr. Rajesh, for the insightful presentation. So we have, few interesting questions from the attendees. The first question would be that I can see from Delnaz is in what ways is AWS hybrid cloud better than Azure? So I guess this is for Rahul.
Yeah, thanks, Seema. So basically, as I mentioned, when you want to really realize a cloud, you want to transfer a migration to a cloud, the migration path itself takes a lot of time, and it will really make your overall ROI and TCO for that application to move to cloud very much unavailable. Now with VMware Cloud on AWS, so we have entirely a pre-engineered stack running in AWS, which is operated and managed by VMware. That's the best part. And second best part is it has got native built-in VMware tool, which is HCX, which is a hybrid connect tool, which creates a layer 2 bridge between on-premise data center and the VMC on AWS stack. And with HCX, you can do a live migration and you can do a bulk migration. So the time required to migrate that particular, because you don't need a refactoring because the same stack, consistency of the stack is available. You reduce the overall migration life cycle, and that way you can have much more better cost savings, a better ROI, better return on your overall investment when you want to adopt a cloud. With Azure, it is yet to come in India, and that is going to be managed and operated by Azure. With VMC on AWS, our SLA commitments is either 3 nines or 4 nines, depends on what architecture customer deploy. And as it's a pre-engineered, you can attach a native AWS services also. So those are the key 3-4 advantage. You can consume VMware stack, get inconsistency, and we have a direct connect between ENI link between VMC and stack and native AWS services. We reduce the overall migration cycle. So the overall cost benefit of adopting AWS, which is VMware AWS stack, is much more attractive compared to Azure as we speak. That's it, what I wanted to answer. I hope.
Thanks, Rahul. Yeah, I hope, Delnaz, you have got your answer. Rahul has clarified the question that you had. So we have another question from Mr. Mahesh Bhatt. He's one of the attendees, and he asked, if cloud is so secure, then how ransomware and malware creep in? I guess Mr. Rajesh has already explained during his presentation, and he has already answered. So Mahesh, you might have got your answer already in the last presentation. Coming to the third question, again from Delnaz. So typically, what kind of banking applications can I host on hybrid cloud? That's what Delnaz is asking.
So there is as such no restrictions. The best part is you are running the same stack. So whatever you are running currently on a VMware platform or any other platform which is virtualized, you can move straight away to an VMC on AWS stack. And the example what I've given, so for banking, the core banking is a key application. After that, CRM becomes the next key application for any banking delivery. Then there are credit management and so on and so forth. The example what I've given, a public bank moved their entire estate of CRM. That's one of the second key application for that bank from on-premise to VMware Cloud on AWS. So the simple and short answer is there's no as such any restriction what you can move because you are providing a consistent infrastructure whatever is virtualized on-premise can be obviously deployed into VMware Cloud on AWS.
Rahul, just to add, this is Rajesh Avasthi.
Rajesh.
Any application which runs on x86 environment, be it physical or virtual, can be deployed on the cloud environment. Obviously, we also need to look at what are the licensing policies of the application and the database that you want to put in. At times they are restrictive in nature and hence may not be possible to put on a cloud, but that's where the hybrid story comes into picture, which I was talking about. That and I am giving you an example. Oracle, if you are using Oracle database, Oracle has certain restrictions from a licensing perspective to be deployed on a multi-tenant environment, because they start asking for licensing for entire cores, physical cores which are part of the cluster, and hence the entire solution may become very costly. So generally what people have done is they deploy Oracle database on dedicated servers, but the application, which is where they need scalability and flexibility, is something which they deploy on a cloud environment, thus creating a hybrid environment for them. At times these applications are also deployed on some proprietary servers. And when I'm saying proprietary, a customer may have, let's say, used AIX as a operating system for deploying the database. Could be Oracle or something. I'm taking an example. A customer may be using, let's say, Finacle, which is the banking, one of the core banking software. The database has been deployed on Oracle, which is deployed on AIX. However, the application is running on x86 environment. So that can be moved. The application can be deployed on a cloud environment like ISO Private Cloud, and we can lift and shift customers' AIX servers or buy new servers for them, and do a cross connect between ISO Private Cloud and that dedicated infrastructure, which could be a 10 gig cross connect, thus creating a hybrid environment for those customers. So there are no limitation. It is more about solutioning, the way Rahul was talking about. Back to you, Shipra.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajesh. There is another question from one of the attendees called Shashi Anand, and he is asking, he's using an Oracle Cloud, whether there is any way that he can get a tool to store 50 GB, for example. Should I repeat the question?
That is something specific to Oracle Cloud. From our perspective, so that is Oracle exactly has to understand and address. So that is running in Oracle Cloud, not on, there is no VMware status.
Okay. So I hope, Shashi, you have got your answer. So another question from Mr. Satish Sharma. What's your take on migration from conventional on-premise app to cloud infrastructure?
So basically, as we mentioned earlier, when we talk about migration, refactoring time required for those applications is pretty large. You know, to rewrite the code, see how it behaves in cloud and all that. And we strongly believe that shouldn't be stopping you from modernizing that application. We have customer cases where customers have struggled for years to actually modernize and deploy into cloud. What we are saying that we will have the same consistent infrastructure what you have today on-premise to the cloud, and you can attach native cloud services. It could be AI, ML, backup, so on and so forth to that cloud. So for you to migrate to the cloud without refactoring is really much more smoother and would essentially help you to adopt that cloud. So with VMware, the journey would be much more shorter, and you can really, without doing a refactoring of the application, put it across that application straight away with either a live migration or bulk migration to the cloud.
Rahul, if I may add, this is Rajesh Avasthi. See, generally when you talk about migrating to cloud, generally there could be 3 steps or 3 ways to do it, and we call it as 3 R's, which are commonly used by most of the cloud providers. And first one people talk about is rehosting. Rehosting means basically whatever you have within your own data center or within your own environment, you as is migrate it into a cloud environment. When I'm saying cloud, this is the infrastructure services that you're talking about. And that's where possibility of using a VMware verified platform becomes easier, because you're talking of same formats. Or in that migration, you may also be doing P2V migration also, because you may have certain workloads running on physical servers, so you would look at a physical to virtual migration. But that's something which has been done umpteen number of times, and there are standard tools available from VMware also to help in those migrations. So that's the rehosting part. Some of the customers look at re-platform. When I say re-platform, you may be using, let's say, and taking an example, you may be using Oracle database. When you move to a cloud environment, you may want to look at some other platform-based native services from that cloud environment. To give you some example, you could look at Amazon RDS services or the SQL database services, or the way I think Sasi Anand was asking, since they are using Oracle now, they must be using Oracle Autonomous Database on Oracle. Okay, so those are some of the platform replatforming that you may do. That means you are moving from your present platform, but their dependency is on the application, whether that application will support those replatform technologies and platforms or not. So that's the second step. The third area, which is what Rahul was talking about, is refactoring or re-architecting, where you may have to relook at your application being modernized, which is microsegmentation based, microservices based architecture, that you may want to move from an n-tier to a microservices based architecture. And that's where you want to deploy it on a containerized environment. And that's what he was talking about, that with VMware, you get a seamless underlying infrastructure, be it traditional VMs or be it containerized platforms which are orchestrated and managed through Kubernetes. So those are certain things which are possible on the environment, and that's what he was talking about. So that's how it is done. Now I'm not saying that you have to follow through this process, but some people may go directly to re-architecting or re-platform. So it depends on customer to customer, actually. Back to you, Shipra.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rajesh. So with this, Mr. Satish Sharma has actually shown interest in the services and would like to contact you to take this further. I hope Prerna can take this separately after the webinar. Now, another question comes from Lavanya. She's asking, is private cloud available in VMware?
It's very much. So the cloud foundation, what I talked about, essentially becomes a building block for your private cloud, which delivers compute, network, and storage virtualization, along with security postures and lifecycle management and automation. So cloud foundation is essentially a private cloud for the customer. It can be deployed anywhere. As I said, it can be deployed into Tata Communications, or it can be native AWS, or on their own data center.
Okay. So I hope, Lavanya, you got your answer. There is another question from Mr. Azim Amrohi. He is asking, is this cloud solution can be integrated with Cisco data center solutions? Can this cloud solution be integrated with Cisco data center solutions?
So essentially, if he's talking about a Cisco network stack, what he has deployed, it could be like a native Cisco stack or an ACS stack, which is application-centric Cisco platform. So our cloud foundation is very much certified with almost all the vendors in terms of what switching stack they have. So we don't control their overall underlay. So we become an overlay on whatever existing underlay they have. Any network which supports 1060 MTUs, essentially NSX is an ideal platform for them. And we are vendor agnostic. It could be Cisco, Juniper, or Arista. We go very well with them. So that shouldn't stop any customer from deploying the cloud foundation.
Just to give a value add on top of that, our ISO private cloud uses Cisco underlay, on top of which we have deployed NSX, which is the VMware verified cloud platform from Tata Communications.
Okay, so Azim, I think you have your answer. Another question comes from Mr. Vikas Srivastav. He's asking, is it true that small applications, for example, 5,000 to 10,000 users, is still expensive to deploy and run on cloud, whether it is AWS or cloud?
We have a cloud economics tool. If we can engage with the customer, run the overall cloud economics tool, and then customer can really realize which way the TCO is going. And we have proven it at multiple times with multiple customers that with VMC Cloud on AWS, the overall TCO is much more better compared to going onto the native platform. We can engage with them and really prove it that this is better way to go, irrespective of number of users.
Yeah, maybe I'll also add on top of that, Rahul. See again, yes, you're right on the cloud environment. It is important to have controls, and that's where I think multi-cloud management becomes very important when you are utilizing a cloud environment. It's for very simple reason, because you have plethora of services which are available, and there is no restriction that you can't use. In a traditional data center, you always had the physical boundaries of that data center and the physical servers which were deployed. That was the maximum that you could scale to. But on a public cloud environment, unless or until you put in controls on top of that, you may extend your workloads, and you may be charged for that also. I'm just giving you an example. There may be a scenario that for a certain project, you created a test and development environment. In your own traditional data centers, if you continue using it, your cost doesn't increase. Whereas if you are consuming it on a cloud environment, and after you've done that testing or whatever work that you had picked up, or a project that was done for a smaller period of time, if you do not terminate that on the system, you will be continued to you will be charged for that, and that can become an aftershock for you. So that's one thing. So it is very important when you are managing this environment, you manage with the controls that you want to set within your organization. And I'm sure within your organization you would have set up some ITSM framework to put in the security controls as well as the operational controls. Those kind of operational controls today are available through the multi-cloud management tools as well as the services which we deliver as part of multi-cloud management. So it again depends. So and one of the things which is important, and which is what Rahul was talking about, there are tools which are available to see the economics of the cloud and also look at the utilization and optimize the utilization. And that's something which is done as a managed services by Tata Communication when we say it's a managed platform from us. So there's no straight answer whether it is costly or not. It depends on how well you manage it. So it is available for you. There are ways and means to optimize it, but someone has to have that skill set and knowledge to make sure that that is taken care of. And that's where a managed services provider like Tata Communication comes into play.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Rajesh. There is one last question from Placid Cementa. He's asking, is there any infrastructure available to test the mobile application on cloud?
Rajesh sir, can you do you have can TCL provide a POC pod, like POC instance for them?
Yeah, so that's possible. But again, let me clarify here. If that platform needs, see, on a cloud environment, these are standard x86 servers which are virtualized. Normally on these platforms, at best what you get is GPU enabled platforms. But if you are looking for specifically voice-enabled cards also, voice cards also on top of this for mobility application. That may not be possible on the cloud environment, but that's where we, from a Tata Communication perspective, can create a hybrid environment where the voice gateways could be deployed on physical servers. However, the application could run on a cloud environment, and that's something which we can do. But the dedicated infrastructure, POCs are not available. But again, we can have that discussion. We'll be more than happy to understand what mobility application that you're talking about, and whether that needs some voice gateway or not. If not, then possibly, yes, it is possible to deploy it on the cloud environment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rajesh. So I think these are the questions that, were the questions that attendees were asking. And this is the end of the questions. There are no more questions I can see. So over to you, Seema.
Thank you so much, Shipra ma'am. On behalf of VMware, Tata Communication and CMR, I would like to thank all the participants for joining this webinar. We hope it has been a useful time spent with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.